Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Storytime video. And with August being a big month for people to go back to school, whether it's at the beginning of the month, the middle of the month, or the end of the month, I figured that it would be a great time to share another school related story. A couple weeks ago, I talked about why I went back to school. Even after I graduated college the first time, why I decided to go back to school again. And today I'm going to talk about my dislike for quizzes and why I don't like them. But I will say that I understand that quizzes are necessary in school, but I never liked them. Because while I get the arguments that quizzes help test your knowledge about a topic, whether it's science or math or whatever the case might be, or IT or dentistry or engineering or whatever you want to get into or whatever you're studying. Um, I feel like it takes away from being able to learn something else that day. Now, granted, it is like I mentioned, it's an argument that you know it helps you um, it helps show what you have learned, and I get that. But especially when I was in college, the way that I look at assignments is I looked at them as learning tools. Like I am in IT, and I'll give you an example here of an assignment where I definitely saw it as a learning experience. It's like I had an assignment one time where I was supposed to look up, or we were supposed to look up some sites where do some vulnerability testing for viruses and all that stuff. And that allowed us to do the research and try to figure out uh, what we could do and all that in order to, allow us to do research, like I mentioned, so that we could um, have that experience of looking at a site and going, okay, well, this seems familiar, and I've looked at this site before, and all that. So that's a learning tool. And just being able to compare and contrast different kinds of vulnerabilities, or being able to compare and contrast different kinds of software and hardware. If it's a class like A plus that you're in, IT people will understand exactly what I'm talking about. But it's like that's what I mean by the assignments are learning tools for us to be able to learn. Um, and so it's like, yeah, you can kind of say and make the argument, like I've said, that quizzes help show what you've learned. Um, but at the same time, I I don't necessarily agree, and um, you know, I don't think it's ridiculous for thinking that, or if they disagree. It's just not something that I like, and it's not because I've never been good at them. Well, about half the quizzes that I have had in my life, I'm guesstimating here, but I would say about half the quizzes I have had in my life, I haven't done that well on. Um, at least, and it seemed like as I got through more and more school, it seemed like the worse I did in with quizzes. It seemed like when I was in school for IT the first time, the only quizzes that I would really pass were the port number quizzes, and those I memorized very well, and I scored pretty much 100 all the time. Well, I pretty much got an A at least all the time. And so I don't want to say that I hate quizzes because I'm not good at them. I just feel like we're in school to learn and not just take quizzes about what we do and what we don't know, and figure that out. I mean, if we need more knowledge about networking or security to tie it back into IT, it's like we can do that, and we can say, hey, well, let me look up different kinds of vulnerabilities, or let me look up different subnets if you're in networking or whatnot, and that can definitely help you. Um, and so I don't like quizzes. I don't hate them. I just would rather not do them, to where if somebody was like, hey, um, would you rather take this or not take this quiz? I'm going to say no every single time. I think I've mentioned this before, but for my math class in senior year of high school, if you had a high enough grade, then you could skip the final in that class. And I didn't realize that I would have a high enough grade, but I did have a high enough grade. I think I was making like a 96, 94, 96. I don't know. I was making an A. I do know that. So I was making a 93 or higher, and I didn't have to take it. And I said, no, I don't want to take it. So that's a case where I was in school, I had the option to take a quiz, and I just decided no, I didn't want to. So, um, and by the way, and instead of doing the final, I slept. I slept. I slept because I was a senior within the final week of classes, or basically the final day of actual classes before graduating a few days later, and I said, "Oh, I don't want to." And to this day, I don't say I flex that or I'm proud of that, but I'm happy I didn't take it, because there's not a lot of wiggle room where I could have improved my grade, and I don't think it would have hurt my grade, but I was already making an A, and um, it's this is gonna sound funny, but it's nothing that I actually I gained sleep over it. But yeah, so um, I would say 99 times out of 100, where if I had the option to take a quiz or not, I am going to choose to not take the quiz. Um, and that's just how it is. Disliked school, and that's why I disliked quizzes. Just as I said, it just wasn't it just wasn't the best way for me to learn, and I, I just don't learn by always going, well, you got these right and these wrong, and all that stuff. But yeah. And see us, guys. I do believe that will do it for this storytime video and Sonic storytime video. I will see you all later. Goodbye, guys. Thank you all for watching.